Good afternoon, boys and girls. This is Raymond Allman here with the weekly economic update for October 25th, 2021. Hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. Pretty good here in the Dahlman house. The Astros are going to the World Series, going to take on the Braves. So a couple of old NL West teams from the 70s and 80s going to be going against each other. So should be fun. Definitely not a Braves fan, but anyway, so that should be good. It was a nice weekend here in the mountains. It was very pleasant. Not too chilly. Nice and comfortable during the day, and a little cool at night. So, hope everyone's weekend was as fantastic as mine. So, all right. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the weekly economic update for this week. All right. Week on Wall Street. Stocks rallied last week on a stream of positive corporate earnings surprises. The Dow Jones rose 1.08%. The S&P 500 advanced 1.64%. NASDAQ was up 1.29%. And international was up 0.23%. So that was the laggard. On Friday, we had covered all the domestic equity or the domestic indexes, and they looked really good. But looks like overseas was a little bit of a laggard. Earnings ignite rally. Fears over inflation, supply shortages, and slow economic growth in China were pushed aside last week as investors reacted to a daily succession of positive corporate earnings surprises. After the Dow Industrials reached an all-time intraday high on Wednesday, fresh earnings reports, an increase in existing home sales, and a new pandemic low in initial jobless claims and continuing claims propelled the S&P 500 to a new record high the following session. Disappointing earnings before the market opened on Friday hurt a few social media stocks, resulting in a choppy trading session and a sell-off in the NASDAQ to close out the week. Solid start to the season. Investors came into the earnings season anxious about whether businesses could extend the earnings growth momentum of recent quarters amid an increase in Delta infections, inflation, labor shortages, and supply chain bottlenecks. The early results were encouraging. Of 23% of companies comprising the S&P 500 index that have reported, 84% have beat Wall Street consensus earnings estimates by an average of more than 13%. The earnings season may get more uneven in the coming weeks since many of the companies potentially affected by labor shortages and inflation have yet to report. Nevertheless, these better than expected earnings buoyed investor spirits and allowed stocks to build on their October gains. All right. This week in economic data coming out tomorrow on Tuesday, we'll have new home sales and consumer confidence. Wednesday, durable goods orders. Thursday, GDP and jobless claims. And Friday is consumer sentiment. There's a bunch of companies reporting earnings this week. Monday, today, is Facebook and Kimberly-Clark. Tuesday is Microsoft, GE, Advanced or AMD, Twitter, Visa, Alphabet, which is Google, Lockheed Martin, Eli Lilly, Texas Instruments, UPS, and Capital One. Wednesday, the Boeing, Ford, Bristol Myers, General Motors, Twilio, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, GlaxoSmithKline, ServiceNow, Spotify Technology, and General Dynamics. Thursday is Apple, MasterCard, Caterpillar, Starbucks, Merck & Company, Shopify, Northrop Grumman, Comcast, and Illinois Toolworks. Friday is AbbVie, ExxonMobil, Chevron, and Lyondell. That'll wrap up that news. All right. So we got a gridlock in the supply chain. And if you don't already know that, let me come over and smack you in the side of the head because you're not paying attention. All right. So this starts out while the world has begun to recover from the economic disruption of the COVID-19 pandemic, the delayed reaction has been felt in the supply chain. Industrial showdowns around the world slowed production to a relative crawl, leaving many businesses struggling to meet consumer demand, both during lockdowns and since. Challenges continue even as manufacturing picks up with worker shortages and a fight to locate the materials needed for production, complicating the struggle. President Biden worked in agreement with the Port of Los Angeles in recent weeks to operate 24 hours a day, which has helped reduce the number of container ships offshore from to 58 from a peak of 73. What does this mean for American consumers? For one, some items that are normally manufactured overseas may be harder to find in stock for the next few months. While that means some household necessities, that extends to items like consumer electronics, toys, and other items that make up a large portion of our holiday purchases. All right, blah, blah, blah. So, well, from what I've seen, the Port of Los Angeles has been, and Long Beach has been the bottleneck on the West Coast. From folks I listen to who are near the Port of Oakland, they don't seem to have those same problems. So, to me, from what I understand, I think it's more of a union problem where, they're not working on weekends or overnights, things like that. So whether or not they're dragging their feet, I have no idea. But it just seems a little suspicious that some places have problems and other places don't. But who knows? All right. That's not the right thing. Let's see. Estate taxes. Oops. Looks like I have the wrong thing there. Let me go grab it for you. All righty. Estate taxes are changing. Let me blow this up for you so you can see it a little easier. To help raise revenue to pay for Biden's Build Back Better, that seems like a genius plan. Congress is considering a number of tax law changes, including adjusting estate taxes. One of the proposals would reduce the estate tax exemption to anywhere between $3.5 and $5 million, with an effective date of January 1, 2022. Another proposal would bring new rules to grantor trusts, including a change of how life insurance held in a trust would be taxed. At this point, many ideas are being evaluated, but nothing is final. Corporate tax rates, individual tax rates, and capital gains tax rates are also on the negotiating table. For now, the federal tax exemption remains at $11.7 million for 2021, with a married couple having a combined exemption of $23.4 million. But it wouldn't be a surprise if the estate tax law changed as part of the overall plan. In 2019, 2,570 taxable estate tax returns were filed, and they owed a combined $13.2 billion. Lowering the estate tax exemption to $5 million would raise an estimated $52.3 billion over 5 years. As difficult as it may be, the best approach is to wait and see. See, this really pisses me off. I mean, this money has already been taxed. Why? Because someone croaks does it get taxed again? It's just crap. There's a lot of estate planning strategies you can use so that the government doesn't get zero or gets nothing, which is what they deserve because they're a bunch of scumbag thieves. But, for those who don't plan ahead and have a lot of wealth, especially if their wealth is in land and things that can't be liquidated, it's just drives me up the wall. All right, let's get back to, let's see here. Biden positive. I have an article here I wanted to cover. It's talking about the Build Back Better bill that they want to push through. It's titled Biden Positive on Budget Deal, Manchin OK with a Wealth Tax. We'll see about that. All right. Pivotal Democratic Senator Joe Manchin appears to be on board with the White House proposal for new taxes on billionaires and certain corporations to help pay for President Joe Biden's scaled back social services and climate change package. Biden said Monday he felt very positive about reaching an agreement on his big domestic policy bill, aiming for votes in Congress as soon as this week, though it is far from certain. That's my hope, the president said before leaving his home state of Delaware for a trip to New Jersey to highlight the child care proposals in the package and his infrastructure measures. I have read the Constitution more than once, probably 20 times. I have never seen anything in there giving the central or general government the authority to handle child care. If I've missed it, please, could you highlight it for me and email it to me? Because I've never seen it. Maybe it's, in the fine print, or it's in a, what are those called with the little numbers, reference. Maybe there's a reference article I didn't see, but, I'm being sarcastic, anyways. Let's skip down here. There was two. Resolving the revenue side is key, as the Democrats insist the new spending will be fully paid for by various taxes. Manchin's another Democrat and another Democrat, Kirsten Sinema of Arizona, have almost their own have almost on their own halted Biden's proposal from advancing with Republican opposition in an evenly split 50-50 Senate. Biden has no votes to spare, and the two Democratic senators have insisted on reducing the size of the enormous package and pressed for other changes. One key debate has been over revenues to pay for the package after Sinema rejected an earlier plan to reverse the Republican-led 2017 tax cuts and raise rates on corporations earning more than $5 million a year and wealthy Americans earning more than $400,000 or $450,000 for couples. Instead, the White House is considering a tax on the investment incomes of billionaires. Fewer than 1,000 of the wealthiest Americans with at least $1 billion in assets. It has also floated a 15% corporate minimum tax that is designed to ensure all companies pay what Biden calls their fair share, ending the practice of some big name firms paying no taxes. I saw Joe talking about, I guess he did a town hall last weekend or Friday maybe. And he was saying that, too many people are getting away without paying their fair share. And I find this hysterical because the man has worked for the government his entire life. And if you're on the federal dole, you don't pay taxes because you don't contribute to the system. You have to be a private worker to make money out in the private sector to then have money to collect to pay taxes. Because a federal worker, they have money taken out for taxes, but they're not contributing to the system. So it just makes me laugh that someone who has sponged off the American people his entire life is claiming that, some people are not paying enough. So it's hysterical. So, all right, that's about everything there. It might get pushed through. I don't see how you're going to tax unrealized gains just based on what you're holding at that time. It just doesn't make sense. All right. And I had one, this is not really financial. It's not financial related at all. But, in lieu of what happened with Alec Baldwin, who shot someone on his movie set, I thought it'd be a perfect time to talk about the 4 rules of gun safety. So as most of y'all know, I am a proud gun owner, and, these things are dangerous. You have to be very careful with them. This is unloaded. There's no magazine inside of it. So, what you need to know is, or consider, anytime you are handling a firearm, you always have to treat it as they're always loaded. That's the first thing I learned in my concealed carry class. All guns are loaded. Don't point it at anyone. Number 2, never point the muzzle at anything you are not willing to kill or destroy. So I guess in this case, he didn't follow rule number 2. And I guess he didn't treat it as a loaded weapon. Number 3, keep your booger hook off the bang switch. Do not put your finger on the trigger until you're ready to fire. Pretty simple. And number 4, be sure of your target and what's behind it, because bullets go through people or doors or walls. So if you're going to shoot someone, you might want to make sure that there's no one behind them that you could injure. So, all right. So that's everything I had today. So like I said, be careful with these things. They are very, very dangerous. I carry one everywhere I go, and I haven't managed to shoot myself in a decade of carrying this around. So if I can manage not to do anything dumb, I imagine most of y'all can too. So, all right. Well, that's everything I had for this week. I've got a bunch of meetings on my calendar. So if you do call or send me an email, if I don't get right back to you, it's probably because I'm talking to somebody. So, but if you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. God damn it. I need to do this at the beginning when people are actually watching this, because I imagine after 13 minutes, you probably already gave up by this point. So I'm probably just talking to myself and to the dogs out in the hallway. So anyways, like I said, if you need anything, reach out. Otherwise, have a fantastic week. Let's go Astros. They play tomorrow night at 6:00 Mountain Time. That's 7 Central. And I think to play Tuesday, Wednesday, and then again on Friday. So let's go. Let's give them some good vibes and go Stros. Have a great week. Bye-bye.